Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
So today we're going to be discussing the different intraday modes that exist within the GearBox Manager. Now, there are two modes. There's your instant entry and there's what's known as skip a level. Now, because these are instant entries entering on gear 0 and skip a level is only entering on gear 1, you can see all of our entries for precision modes are much, much higher. So we said, okay, well, let's look at these pairs. What pairs can work best for gear 0 entry and a gear 1 entry? What are those best pairs to trade in this situation? Now, this could change on a week-to-week basis, but what we wanted to do to really come to that conclusion is first, we wanted to look at forward testing. Second, we wanted to look at back testing. And third, we wanted to go through and look at historical data over market conditions and average daily true ranges. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up this. Let me look at the chat here. I see. Somebody says there are different lot size recommendations for the different modes. Eric, great question. We're going to get into that in a minute. But what I can tell you is precision modes have a total different lot than intraday. So precision modes can go anywhere from 0.01 per 3K to 0.01 per 1K. Intraday modes, you're going to want to go 0.01 per 3K. If you have less than $3,000, you need less pairs. Really simple strategy. So when using instant entry, we're going to be able to choose 3 pairs. When using skip a level, you're going to be able to scan 6, but only trade 3 max, depending on your balance. But let's get into some data that I want to show you guys first. So the first thing we wanted to go through is we wanted to go through Forex volatility, right? Let's look at the different pairs and let's look at over time what this has looked like. So the first thing I did is I started on 2020. I wanted to see what pairs had the lowest average daily true range and really take a look at that and look at some of this data. So, a lot of people with the instant entry strategy were using some different pairs. And really what I came to find out as I looked at this data, I also went back and looked at some forward testing, so we looked at 2020, we looked at 2019, look at 2018, and we went through this historical data just to kind of see what kind of aligns through time, that something doesn't trend as often, it looks pretty solid. So I'm going to show you an account that we ran on instant entry settings since like the beginning of the company, but we ran it with 3 different pairs, and one of the pairs was no good on GBP USD. As we know, GBP USD is just not a great pair to use on instant entry because look where our entries are for precision. They're back here, and you want to enter up here. That's just bad. But I'm going to show you what happened when we did that. So this was an account that ran GBP USD, NZD CHF, and USD CAD. And what we noticed is every time it took a loss, it was always GBP USD. So we went over here, we went in the history, and all the losses came from GBP USD, which tells me that, okay, GBP USD was the troublesome pair in this scenario in the setup, but what pairs weren't troublesome? So we went and looked, and we looked NZD CHF and USD CAD. They weren't so troublesome. The software did really good with them. So then I went back and I looked at, our volatility here, and I said, okay, that's not that bad. That doesn't, misalign. I mean, USD CAD's definitely down there, and so is EJ, but these pairs do perform great. So I can't deny that because the testing shows that. But then you see NZD CHFs up here. Awesome. You see USD CHF, pretty good. I mean, USD CHF can trend. So the other thing with intraday modes is we are going to be paying more attention to the news and the red folder events on a week-to-week basis, also around these pairs. And there are times where we might go into the VPS and go on to a pair. And for example, let's just say EJ starts trending and doesn't look so good. we might go hit pause new trends. So it'll just finish the current sequence it's in, but it won't get into any new ones. So there's going to be some more hands-on management to the intraday strategy, definitely. But at the same time, the pairs look really good. So I started looking at what pairs I thought would do really well. And, based on data, again, I base everything always on data because, if you're not using data to make your decisions, that doesn't make much sense. Some people are kind of just guessing and putting things on a screen. So what I really started to look at is, okay, what could work here? And what I decided is instant entry, you're going to choose 3 pairs. You would choose between these 3, right? Choose 3 of these, and that's going to be the instant entry strategy. And then skip a level is going to be 6 pairs, but trading 3 max at a single time. And if you get into smaller balances below 1K, I would say trading 1 to 2 max pairs at a single time for the skip a level strategy. And then instant entry, same thing. So we're going to type in the instant entry here, 3K, 0.01 or 0.01 per 3K for instant entry, and skip a level 0.01 per 3K. And typically, if you only have 1K, stick to 1 pair on instant entry. If you have 2K, go to 2 pairs. If you have 3K, you can go to 3 pairs on instant entry. As for skip a level, anything over 1K, because you are skipping level 1, I still think you can run 3 max pairs. You just want to make sure your risk parameters are in place. But if you go below, 1K, definitely lower your max pairs. So this is kind of what the instant entry strategy is really going to look like when it comes to applying it and using the GearBox Manager. But just for the ease of setup and everyone on the thing, kind of ignore that USD JPY is open here. I still have open trades from Einstein on USD JPY. As you see, GearBox can take over Einstein trades now. You see these were all Einstein trades or Alexander trades, whatever you'd like to call them. And GearBox came in and continued to manage them and pick them up. But I'm going to go ahead and just pretend USD JPY doesn't exist here. And we're going to go into hide all. Awesome. And we're going to go load up these pairs. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go with the skip a level strategy personally. I'm going to move away from instant entry, at least on this account. I'll do another instant entry account I'm going to set up, which will run. But for now, let's just go ahead and set up skip a level here. So we got EJ open, Euro USD, great performer always. The next thing you also are going to want to look at when you're choosing between these pairs is you're also going to probably want to look at the Forex correlation chart. So before I even actually set this up, let's go back to the correlation chart. So find currencies with correlation higher than 75%. Perfect. So take a look at this. So this is really cool. Anytime a pair is more than 75% correlated, this typically means that the chart's going to look identical, which means that your software is typically going to end up in the same drawdown multiple times on the same pair if a trend goes against you. Or if it's winning, it's also going to go in the same direction. Now, when we really take a look at a lot of this, you're going to see that there are many pairs that they are very correlated. AUD CAD and AUD USD, very correlated, right? AUD JPY, extremely correlated with Euro JPY and GBP JPY and GBP USD and USD JPY. So you can go through and you can see what pairs almost are going to look identical on the charts, right? This is a huge tool. A lot of people don't understand this, that many of these pairs, they move very similar by nature, like AUD CHF. If you go look at the chart and look at GBP JPY, chances are you're going to see they look pretty similar. And it's very, very powerful that you can see these things by just using this Forex market correlation filter. I think this is such a cool tool to really help people make decisions in their trading on what pairs maybe shouldn't be traded together. So if we were looking at the instant entry strategy, let's go take a look at some pairs here. So we're going to go and say, okay, of these 6 pairs, which ones correlate together? And chances are maybe you don't want to bunch those always. Now let's take a look at USD CAD. All right, so if we come where we got USD CAD here, awesome. USD CAD's right here, and we see there's 2 of these, 81 and 100. So if we scroll up, Euro AUD, and well, of course, USD CAD's 100 because it's 100. So USD CAD's not very much correlating right there. All right, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at AUD NZD. Take a look at AUDZ NZD. You can see pretty good pair, not so correlated with a lot of these other ones. That's great news. All right, let's take a look and let's go over here to CAD CHF. Go to CAD CHF and we can see, okay, AJ is very correlated. EJ is pretty correlated. So maybe if you're trading CAD CHF, maybe you don't want to trade EJ on the same account you're trading CAD CHF on if you use instant entry or even skip a level. Now, you know, with skip a level, you're more scanning. So that actually will be picked up with our new correlation feature being added to GearBox in the near future. And you can see USD JPY and CAD CHF highly correlated, right? So, you know, USD JPY, as we know, is eliminated for, not eliminated, but it's a worst performing pair for the strategy. All the JPY pairs lately, I would say avoid with any counter trend strategy besides EJ. EJ tends to respect most of the fundamentals right now, but all the other JPY pairs are just, they're very much, when they trend, and they don't show imminent signs of reversal very often. They tend to just trend until you can't handle any more trend. So we want to kind of avoid a lot of the JPY pairs. That's definitely a big thing. NZD CHF. All right, if we come take a look at correlation, let's go down here. NZD CHF. All right, we got AJ. What else is 90 here? Euro JPY. All right, so that tells us right there that NZD CHF, you are not going to want to trade at the same time that you are trading that. As well, we come over here, we got 92.79. I mean, we got a bunch of correlation on NZD CHF. So if we come back over here and take a look. So we had EJ, we had GBP, JPY, GBP, USD, and USD, JPY. So all that really tells me is that if you're using NZD CHF, chances are you shouldn't be running Euro JPY on that same account. So you guys can see a little bit of the correlation when it comes to instant entry and choosing your pair. So of these 3, you're going to want to make sure that the 3 you choose if you're using the instant entry strategy aren't highly correlated, right? That's the key thing. And these are all great ranging pairs. They do very well. Again, there's going to be weeks where we might eliminate one of them because there's big news or say, hey, you know, cut your trades or whatever it may be. Because again, it is a higher exposure strategy as you're getting into trades instantly and not skipping what I would call periods of drawdown, right? But the good thing is you're capitalizing in ranging markets where GearBox isn't getting trades or isn't making money. Instant entry and skip a level is going to be getting in and out of trades making money, but you just want to make sure that, you know, we're trading pairs that don't trend often. And if they do trend, there's signs of trending, you know, in advance, such as news events and different things that we can catch. Because like any strategy where you are constantly in the market, you have higher exposure, and higher exposure can lead to possibly more drawdown or more risk. Now, we're going to go ahead and get back into setting up skip a level. So I'm going to go ahead and use all these pairs for skip a level. As I said, instant entry, you're going to choose 3 of them. And as we talked about, you're going to want to choose 3 that aren't highly correlated. Otherwise, that drawdown is going to look the same if they go against you. And you don't like that. You don't want that. But we're going to go in here and we're going to start typing in these pairs here. So we have Euro USD. We already have EJ open. We're going to get NZD CHF. Going to do USD CAD. CAD CHF. AUD NZD. Awesome. So now we're just going to go ahead and open all these pairs up. Again, when using the instant entry strategy, I highly recommend, or even skip a level, I highly recommend the daily charts. Yes, on precision modes, H1 and H4 is not as risky in precision mode, but on intraday modes, they are much riskier. Personally, in my opinion, some users might like it because they can hedge more, but for me, I'm a big fan of the larger overall trend always. So all we're going to do here is I'm going to go in the manager now, and I'm going to put my parameters in. Oops, I made that very large. Let me make the chat box go somewhere right now. There we go. Cool. So you're going to come into your manager, and the only thing you're really going to want to modify, and this is actually a big thing, when using intraday modes, you are going to want to use a weekly goal. I know we normally don't use a weekly goal with your traditional methods of madness, but I would be a big fan of a weekly goal when it comes to using this. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use a trailing weekly goal. So I'm going to put 2 and trail by 1. What does this mean? It means that if I'm up 2% on the week and then I start going back into drawdown and it gets back to only 1% floating profit, it's going to close out all the trades and secure me my 1%. Now, let's say that this goes to 4% floating profit on the week. It's not going to close me out at 2. It's going to go up to 4. And then if it comes back, it'll secure 3 because it's trailing by 1. Now, again, you can also use a fixed weekly goal too. Some users are a big fan of a fixed weekly goal where maybe you just say, I'm just trying to get 3% a week. Now, again, remember, these settings do not change how the software trades. This is just simply something that's going to apply so that you can, get in and out of trade sooner. So fixed weekly goal, 3% is fine, or trailing of 2 and 1, right? However you'd want to do it. But those would be my my ideal scenarios so that you do have a weekly goal when using a higher exposure strategy, because you shouldn't be in the markets all the time. And obviously these strategies could leave you in the markets all the time. And you want to be able to get out on a week-to-week basis. When the profit's there, secure your profit, get out and on to the next one. So again, I'm just going to put this back on a trailing of 2 and 1 for now for myself, just to let it potentially secure more than 2% and potentially secure more than 3%, but also still, if everything goes to crap, get me out of the market with 1% profit on the week, right? And just secure my floating profit. Next thing we got to decide on is the starting lot size. So with intraday modes, we talked about using a 0.01 per 3,000. So this balances in euros, so 13,387 euro to USD. All right, we got $16,000 in here. So all we're going to do is go ahead and divide 16 by 3, and I got 5. So I'm putting a 0.05 starting lot size here. And from there, max pairs trading at same time, 3. Yep. You can ignore the gears above settings. You don't need to modify these because they will apply with their what they need to be applied with for instant entry or skip a level. The only other thing you need to decide on is your take profit setting. So for me, I'm just going to go with ghost trades plus real trades, because that's always the safest option in intraday modes. And notifications of drawdown, you can decide if you want to change these. Balance protection, I'm going to put back at 25. And we're going to just go ahead and hit OK. And now all I need to do is go ahead and hit my skip a level strategy. And what we should see is now I have GearBox applied to all the charts. And we're trading, we're logged in, and we're good to go. Now, if we go check our settings, we should see skip a level. And skip a level, yep, it's skipping gears 0 and 0. So we're not doing much except just skipping one level, right? So we're skipping level 0. So what does that look like? Well, that looks like us just skipping the first 21 pips of a move. So if one of these 3 currency pairs goes 21 pips and the second entry would have taken, you're going to get right into it. Obviously you're not mitigating much risk, but you're also not instantly trading pairs, right? So skip a level still isn't the same risk level as say instant entry because it's not always in the market, but it can easily be in the market all the time. if that makes sense. But that's why skip a level. So skip a level, again, we're going to scan 6 pairs, but only allow 3 of them to trade at once. These are the current 6 pairs that we have designated or chosen based on data and looking at volatility in different ranges. And, we can go back and look at some more of this historical data too. I'm talking about the methodology of the study, why average daily true range is important. These are very important things. This article is actually great for understanding a lot of, the strategy and what are the most volatile currency pairs? Well, we see them right here. Now, the great thing is we see EJs on this list, but we're using EJ. You might ask, why are we using EJ if EJ is on this list? And well, the answer is data suggests that EJ does great. And when EJ doesn't do great, the profit outweighs the risk the few times EJ does trend. Whereas other JPY pairs, the data suggests that they are worse and that their performance profitability wise in comparison to their downside is not as good. But EJ still has that. Whereas many of these other pairs, you're never going to use instant entry on or skip a level because they are highly volatile pairs. They do move a lot. They do a lot of movement. GBP, NZD, and especially, which those pairs, as you see, are best performers for precision modes, right? Best performing pairs on precision. So, this whole chart's based around precision modes. I'm going to make another chart separate just for intraday with the highlighted pairs and the details, but please understand that this is precision modes, and you can see that these pairs did do great in precision modes, but they would do terrible in instant entry, such as GBP AUD, GBP CAD, GBP USD. Many of them wouldn't do so well, and you see Euro USD and EJ are great performers, even though we are skipping these drawdown. We're still running them on skip a level and instant entry, but they do great even with these later entries. But at the same time, they don't tend to trend, to 10, 11, 12, right? So even if, you're in here and they go against you, you can handle this. But at the same time, if they never make it here, skip a level and instant entry is going to make you money every time. Let's say it comes here and then swings back. You would never gotten that trade, but you're getting it now with skip a level and instant entry. So you can look at these average daily ranges and you can see 2014, 2015 most volatile pairs and where they're moving. What are the least volatile currency pairs? So we'll get into that study here. So you can see many of them we have chose to run. We've chosen AUD, NZD. We've chosen many of these pairs here, as you can see, for various reasons, right? CAD CHF, it respects things a lot. You can see NZD CHF. It's on there as well. So we chose 3 really great ones from there. And then we also include 3 more volatile ones, such as USD CAD, Euro JPY, and Euro USD, where they're not super volatile. They're more on the bottom side, but they're also not the least volatile pairs. So they get some movement as well so that you can make some money. And these are the pairs that I would stick to when using an intraday mode. Now, please remember, intraday mode is not for the faint-hearted. Intraday mode is always going to be the riskier option in comparison to the precision modes. And when it comes down to it, I personally am a big fan of precision, but we're going to go ahead. Somebody said that, well, a stop loss of 500 will take a loss and stop my trade. Yeah, if you hit a 500 pip stop loss, your trade's going to close out. It's gonna close, and that trade's closed. That's what a stop loss is. You can lower that if you so choose to or like. Personally, for me, I've noticed with these strategies that typically, if you're using pairs that never move that much, you're not going to hit them, which is why they're raised. But if you want to, you can decrease them. Your other option is a hard stop loss as well on your entire account, where you could set, say, 10%. If I go in 10% drawdown, close out all my trades. If I go in 20% drawdown, close out all my trades. Kind of up to you. I leave that at 100 because I have a different feature built in called balance protection mode. And what balance protection mode is at 25% drawdown here, it's going to actually stop taking any new trades. So if the software ever gets in 25% drawdown, it's going to stop taking a trade. And you could lower this even. You could do 10, you could do 15, you could increase it. it's all up to you. You have full control of those settings and kind of your risk. But again, with any intraday modes, it's going to be wise to use a weekly goal, whether a trailing or a fixed, because you do not want to be in the market always. If the profit's there, take it off the table, get out of the market, and be content. I know that's a hard thing for some people, but again, you're not supposed to be in the market 24/5, right? If you can avoid being in the market every second of the day, that's better for your exposure. That's better for your long-term wealth plan and creating wealth. Next thing is, depending on your balance, you may decrease your max pairs trading at the same time if you're using the skip a level strategy. If you're using instant entry, this setting is irrelevant because you're entering right away. It's not scanning anything, in which case you would simply just run the actual pairs open on your chart that you want to run, which, as we touched about it again, instant entry, 0.01 for 3K. If you only have 1K, one pair, 2K, two pairs, 3K, three pairs, choose between these. I would tell somebody with one pair, maybe Euro USD or EJ or Euro JPY. Somebody with two pairs, maybe plus, let's say NZD CHF. Right? Or any other pair. Right? Same concept. Three pairs, choose from below as well. Choose another from below. And then obviously skip a level, you're gonna open all six of these and scan them, but only allow three max. And then on your balance, lower it. Like if somebody only had a $500 balance, I would tell them probably shouldn't even use this strategy, but if they want to, I would only allow one max pair trading at the same time. Even two on a riskier side. But this, just to give you guys some clarity, this is intraday mode. It is a very simple mode. It doesn't scan a lot of pairs, but it is, as we talked about, always going to be the riskier, more a tentative decision for those users who decide to use it. It will get in a lot more trades. It'll do a lot of things, people aren't used to with, say, a sniper strategy, a swing, or a super. It's going to get in a lot more trades. So you have to be content with your potential drawdown. Eric said, when you add more pairs above 3 in max precision mode, how would you adjust the lot size? Well, again, you can adjust the lot size based on your risk. Personally, for me, I have some accounts running 6 max pairs. I have some accounts running 4 and 3, but I've never adjusted the lot on any of them. The only difference is the more pairs I run, the higher the drawdown's going to always look, right? So if you want to decrease your drawdown, but also run more pairs, then I would just proportionately decrease your lot size accordingly as well. That one's easy enough to call. If you had 3 max pairs with a 0.01 per 1K in precision mode, and you want to have 6 max pairs, take it to 0.01 per 2K or 0.01 per 3K, right? If you're looking to have the same conservative nature, and not increase your returns, but just increase your ability to trade more pairs, that's how you proportionately do it in precision. But you can also tune in tomorrow, Friday, 11 a.m. is our precision mode call. Today's really focused all around intraday modes. For those people that do want to use them, we're going to support them and teach them and coach on them. Just know that, as we've mentioned, precision is always going to be your safest and most conservative route, with as little, attentive detail needed. Whereas intraday, we're going to be paying much more attention. So now that we are running these, let's make sure these are on the daily too. The other thing we're going to want to take a look at is going to be the news coming up for this week on these pairs that we're using skip a level on. So if we go to forexfactory.com, all right, let's go ahead and take a look at the news outlook for the next coming week so that we can set our expectations properly. And you can see we definitely have some Euro red folders. So understanding that and running and CHF, right? We got some good stuff on pairs we are using on the intraday strategy. So because of this, I might go to the Euro pairs, on Tuesday, and I might take a look at them. And what I would do on Tuesday, knowing there's red folders Wednesday, is I might go ahead and take a look at these euro pairs, and I might just hit pause new trends. Pause new trends. What does this mean? It means that it'll finish any trades it has open, but it's not going to open any new sequences. So meaning, like, let's say this euro JPY sequence completed, these two hit take profit. It's not going to open a new euro JPY sequence. It would just stop taking any trades on that those pairs going forward to open new sequences and leave those closed until you unpause them. But please keep in mind, this does not pause new trades from happening, meaning if you already have euro JPY open and you hit pause and it continues to go against you, it will continue to open new trades as it needs to complete that sequence. But this can simply pause it and keep you from getting into new trends. So that's how I would handle situations like that when looking at red folder news, just to be safe, right? As for Thursday, you see we have one CHF. It looks like a pretty calm week besides for euro news. So that's the only thing I would do this week with the euro pairs of running them. And if you're using instant entry on euro pairs, I would handle that the same exact way. And then Thursday, you see we just have one CHF monetary policy assignment. So if you're running CHF, same concept, any of the CHF pairs. So we see we have NZD CHF and CAD CHF. If you're running those, all I would do is before Thursday, late Wednesday night, I would just go over here. I would go to the CHF pairs and I would do the same thing. I just hit pause, new trends to happen, and let it finish any trends it has open, but don't put me in any new ones when those ones complete. And then once those events are over, and I always, like I said, I'm pausing to avoid new trends at, many hours in advance, 12, 24 hours in advance on these pairs to let it have time to finish what it's already doing, but also, not get into anything new once it does finish prior to those events. And then once events are over, turn it back on, right? Because red folders are really the only thing that can ever send the market spiraling in one direction, outside of, any black swan events and things along those lines. But it's all about understanding your risk management plan. But that is the intraday modes in a nutshell and some of the pairs and the choices. Does anyone have any questions regarding these intraday modes? I don't see too many questions in the chat box, so I'm going to just read. Sandy Factor says balance protection stops new trades but allows existing positions to work, right? Sandy, so it stops taking new trades. Yeah, balance protection stops taking new trades, not new trends. Balance protection will not take a new trade. If you are in balance protection mode, it will entirely stop taking any new trades. Four pairs are not closing anything, that's all right. Yeah, if you are in a drawdown period and balance protection is activated, you just got to sit and wait, right? Somebody asked a question, said not intraday mode specific, but how would GearBox try to come out of a pair that has been trending for a long time and equity protector is enabled, for example? I don't think you mean equity protector is enabled. If equity protector is enabled, all your trades would be closed. I think you mean balance protection, Alar. Where highs, lows, yeah. I understand what you mean, Alar, and what I can tell you is if you want it to take another trade, you can increase your balance protection. Other than that, I always tell people balance protection's there for you to just sit and wait. Don't keep stacking new orders. Don't keep going against the trend. Just sit and wait and analyze, right? And then if you see that it starts to come back finally, right? You see CAD JPY. You see CAD JPY finally starts to come back. Okay, maybe go increase your balance protection so it'll take its next level. But balance protection is there to protect you so that you can go back and reanalyze the situation without it continuing to stack more risk into the market. Amy said, which pairs do you recommend for a balance of 1 to 3K? I covered that right here. 0.01 per 3K, 1K 1 pair, Euro USD or Euro JPY, 2K 2 pairs, Euro USD or Euro JPY plus NZD CHF or any other pair below, 3K 3 pairs, choose another from below. When it comes to instant entry, if you are using skip a level, you can actually open all of these and you would just decrease your max pairs trading. And yes, Alara, if you want to change, just go to your manager, increase your balance protection, reapply your strategy, and it would take more trades. Christoph said you cannot mix modes in the same account. Only one manager is possible. You could mix modes, but you would not do it through the manager. You would simply have to actually apply it individually. So like, let's say you want to run some of these on skip a level, but there's one of these that you want to run on instant entry. All you would do is you would simply go into the settings and you would change 0 to -1 and -1. And now that's instant entry. Jatal said one suggestion, the button in the GearBox manager. So in previous versions, Jatal, that actually didn't work either. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, I could see what strategy I clicked. Well, you should remember what strategy you clicked first off. Second, you can see it in your logs. But the button on presses when the strategy is being applied. Now, in previous versions of the manager, if you hit another strategy, all the buttons would be it. You still wouldn't have known which strategy you chose because there'd be 3 buttons pressed. So it actually didn't work at all. So we made it to where it unclicks once the strategy is applied. So yes, no, we can't have it just stay clicked in because it won't unclick if you change strategies, and then it's still the same thing you have now. Just the key is to remember exactly what strategy you clicked, because you should know what strategy you clicked because you clicked it. But I don't see any more questions for today. Oh, I see one just popped up here. All righty. But with that being said, everyone, thank you guys so much for tuning into the intraday call, being on here. I don't see too many more questions happening. Oh, I see a question. Here we go. Yeah, ma'am, you're not doing the intraday stuff. You said I don't know if I'm doing the intraday stuff. You're not doing the intraday stuff because this is the first GearBox call. I would definitely get back, you know, with your sponsor. Right now, everyone's in some drawdown. The market's been consolidating now, and it was trending for a while. And once the market trends and then consolidates, you just get stuck in drawdown until it decides to move back to where it was. And that's a part of using any strategy like this, Marlo. So I definitely would get in the GearBox traders chats and, you know, talk with everyone in there. If you're not in the GearBox traders chats, you can go in there and you can see lots of other people talking about it and great information. You know, there's some amazing GearBox users and customers in there that share their thoughts, analysts, and their ideas. And, you know, I would get in there so that you feel that same support from other people that are in the same situation as you. And yeah, definitely get into the GearBox traders chat if you're not already in it. It's a phenomenal chat on Telegram full of amazing members of our community. But with that being said, everybody, thank you guys so much for tuning into this wonderful call. And I look forward to hosting these intraday calls every Thursday. And then again, Friday is going to be precision mode calls. And then every Saturday, I'm actually going to help anybody that is, you know, switching to GearBox from, say, another product and they want to come to GearBox. I'm going to get on a call every Saturday as well at 7 p.m. Eastern. And I'm going to show people how to safely, you know, switch to the GearBox strategy if they so want to. I'm only going to be hosting those calls though on Saturday for the next 3 Saturdays. As for intraday and precision modes, those will be every Thursday and Friday for the lifetime that you are here and being a customer of our Auvoria Prime Marketplace. But with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side.